Now, I'm not saying that all locticians suck, but I am saying that some of y'all like really are the worst. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Meso and I make videos related to my DIY microlocs. So today's video is actually an impromptu video. I literally I saw a comment on my YouTube, one of my videos actually, where someone was talking about how she's pretty much going to restart her locks. I've gotten a lot of comments like this of people just having horrible locticians, and those locticians giving them misinformation, or not misinformation, but miseducating them about how to care for their locks. And I believe this person was talking about how her loctician had told her not like she didn't need to braid and band her hair. And I believe this comment was on I think this is my most popular video on my channel. Sorry, I'm a little sick right now, so that's what you're hearing. And like that comment like infuriated me because she like outlined a list of different things that her loctician had pretty much told her to do, and I'll put the comment on the screen. And all of those things were typical things that you were absolutely not supposed to do, at least in your first like few months or first year of having locks. And so I saw that comment and it really just like infuriated me, because we have a lot of people who are quite frankly just being very irresponsible with people's time, people's money, and people who just plain don't care. And some of these locticians, and I understand that has been a very recent boom in, I guess, people being interested in getting microlocs. The microlocs community is growing, and like it's more, I guess, more visible, more prevalent, whatever, on social media. So there are a lot of people who are seeing this, a lot of these locticians who are seeing this as an opportunity to pretty much like make a quick buck. And they hear that people will pay thousands, or if 1,500 or whatever, to install their locks at first, and then will pay 150, 200, whatever, to maintain it every few weeks. And so that has really been upsetting me, because if you've seen my previous videos, you know that I've talked about experiences that I've had with a few locticians, and how one of them steered me wrong, and the other one was really weird, and then the other one told me I needed to restart my locks all over when I was pretty much close to 1 year lock, and that person was a sister lock consultant. That would be that's a completely different thing. But to me, they're all tiny lock people. So like I said, there's been a big boom in people who are getting locks, and I feel like a lot of people have seen that as a quick cash grabs, and they've learned from YouTube University. Now, I have no issue with people learning like a skill, learning how to do whatever on YouTube, and then being able to pretty much what's it called, translate that into something they can do to earn a living. I have no issue with that, but my issue is that you can't, like, I don't think YouTube University is enough for someone to learn everything they need to know to get locks. And I say that as someone who installed my locks myself the first time around, and then learned a lot of things from that first time, and then put these in my head the second time around. And there's still a lot more that I've learned as a result of doing this. And if I were to do this a third time again, there's a whole lot of stuff that I've learned and would do differently this time around. So if someone is going to a person that they think is a professional, I'm expecting that this professional has all of the knowledge, all of the skill, the expertise, knows everything they need to do this job, to ensure that they're fixing mistakes or making sure that your lock journey is going as it's supposed to, rather than them also learning with you, if you know what I mean. Like, it's a different case to learn how to handle specific things with each person's individual head or hair or lock, whatever. But it's a different thing if a loctician doesn't know that you're supposed to braid and band, if you have locks that unravel easily, or if you start your locks with 2-strand twists. It's a different thing if a loctician doesn't know, I don't know, a loctician can't give you like proper recommendations for how to take care of your hair. That's a big thing. That's a thing that you should have a form of certificate. Now, if you're getting a certificate from these like online microloc trainers, and they're teaching you everything to look out for, how to create your grid, how to interlock, how to fix mistakes, recommend things like that, that's fine. But even with that, I'm honestly overly cautious because some of these people also don't know how to handle hair. Um, they learned something in a few days course. And again, I have nothing against those. I just feel like for a hairstyle or a lifestyle that you're going to invest thousands of dollars into, I feel like you should have somebody who knows what they're doing. I don't feel like, anybody should just be able to do. I genuinely don't feel that way. If you're not doing it yourself, you should be doing it with someone who is um a professional, like your mom or your sister, whoever else can do it. But if you're going to someone who claims that they're a profession, who does this for a job, this is what they do for a living, I don't want to be learning with you, right? And so I've just been seeing that. I've had a couple of comments also on that. I think it's probably that same video where other people have also talked about the same thing. And I made a comment. I think I made a comment about like surviving locticians or something. I had so many people like that comment because there's so many horror stories of people just dealing with very incompetent locticians. And I hate that for them because you're investing so much money into something and then you find out that the person you have paid this much money to do this also doesn't know what they're doing. So at this point, I feel like my recommendation, if you're looking for a loctician or if you're thinking about starting your locks, I almost feel like at this point in time, the safest bet might just be going to a sister lock consultant. But for me personally, the best bet, and that is the situation I have right now because I found a good loctician, I feel like the best bet is finding someone who is a licensed cosmetologist who also does locks. I feel like that is the best case scenario because you kind of have the 2-for-1 deal. You have someone who knows how to do microlocs, right? And somebody who has the actual training on hair, how to care for hair. And bonus points if that cosmetologist, loctician person has years of experience doing locks. Like that's, to me, that's the ideal situation. And I wouldn't have known that that is the ideal situation if I hadn't met my current loctician because she's a cosmetologist who also happens to do locks. And I've been so lucky, honestly, to have somebody who, one, genuinely cares about the health of my hair because, again, these random locticians don't know hair. They don't know how to care for hair health. They just don't have the expertise and they can't really guide you in the way you need to be guided. So thankfully I've stumbled upon someone who can at least give me the proper education, someone who knows things from like how to sterilize tools, for example. And I'm sure other locticians know how to do that, but this loctician, like if she drops something, that's it. She's not gonna wash it. She's just gonna put it to the side and use a new tool. She's able to give me like proper education on how to care for my hair. She's able to tell when I'm doing specific, like what my lifestyle is by looking at my hair. She's able to treat my hair when she like sees me for my appointment. That's the ideal situation you want. So either that or see somebody who's a consultant, or honestly just see somebody who has years and years and years and years of experience doing microlocs. I think, again, if this person has been doing microlocs for a few years, even though maybe they got a certificate online or something, and they've been doing microlocs for a few years, I feel like, okay, maybe we can trust them. We probably could trust them because after a few years, you've probably seen everything there is to see. You've probably had to figure out how to fix specific mistakes or specific issues on locks. You probably figured out a whole bunch of things. So that would probably make sense. But I will strongly advise against somebody who just, I don't know, maybe they've just been randomly doing locks. Like, again, there's no way to know because they might be good, they might be knowledgeable. But again, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on this, I want you to protect your investment. I want you to not regret what you've done. I want you to not feel bitter or any type of way about getting locks, because that's a certain point in time with these locticians I was experiencing, I just wanted to combat my locks completely because it felt like, why am I doing all this for people who are acting like they're doing me a favor by taking care of my hair, even though I'm paying them to do so. So I don't want that for you. You deserve better. So please do a really good job at vetting these locticians. Try your best to vet these locticians. And I will say that if you feel like something is off, with the loctician, if they're being funny, if there's something, if you feel like, when you can feel when something is off. If you feel that, just find your way and be gone. rather than dealing with somebody who's going to ruin your hair. Anyways, that's just my advice, and that's just my random rant about locticians. Please protect your investment. You deserve better, and we do not deserve these people who are honestly just taking advantage of, you know, people wanting hair freedom, and, you know, seeing this as a quick buck, and just people who don't care about your hair in general. You deserve better than that. So please do your best to vet, do your best to do research, go to people who are better known in the area you live in, even if they cost a little more money, because I promise you the stress, the mental stress, and the frustration, and the not liking your hair, having to comb out your locks completely like that person in that comment, or it's just not worth it. So find somebody who is reputable and who knows what you're doing, who knows what they're doing to the best of your ability. But yeah, that is my mini rant over. I just wanted to come on here and say this because, like, I'm just seeing this everywhere, and I just, like, it really upsets me. It really, really upsets me. But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and please share your Loctitian stories with me in the comments, because I don't know if it's like a sick thing now that I like to hear other people. I think I want to feel less alone in my Loctitian woes, because at a certain point I remember asking someone, like, is it me? Like why have I had so many issues with, you know, at this point I've seen 4 Locticians. Why have I had issues with 3 Locticians at this point in time? Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? Maybe I'm just not seeing it. And this person told me, I don't think that's what it is. I think, you know, we just have a slew of people who are just an epidemic of people who are just. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Please feel free to share your stories in the comments. I'm thinking, I wish we had like a tool to, like, almost like a tool to map out Locticians in different cities and different states. I know that, like, the Sister Lock registry has that. Like, it has, you know, the different Locticians and where you can find them. But I want us to create something like that for, and maybe that's something I really need to look into, creating something like that for regular Locticians. My only issue with doing something like that is, like, how are we going to my only issue with doing something like that is, like, how are we going to vet these Locticians? Because again, I know not everyone has a certification, but they might be great Locticians, and not everyone has, like, you know, had like professional training, but again, they might be great Locticians. So if anyone, like, has any thoughts about that, please also leave that in the comments down below. We need to find a solution to just find reputable people who we can trust, who we know will do a good job, and who will not leave people miserable and upset and frustrated with. Yeah, we need to find something like that. And share any ideas you might have for this tool, because that's something I've been thinking about for a while. I just don't know what it would look like to structure that, to bring that to life. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.